Stop trying to force motivation. Most of us think the problem is energy. If we could just get a little bit more, we'd update the resume, write the cover letter, follow up with a former colleague, get that certification. But when you keep making promises that you don't keep, the real cost isn't momentum, it's self-trust. And once self-trust takes a hit, your brain and body get really conservative with energy. And it's not to punish you, it's actually to protect you. The problem is that protection can keep you stuck. Hi, I'm Laverne McKinnon, and welcome to Moonshot Mentor. If you're navigating high-stakes change, a career transition, or leading a team through uncertainty, you're in the right place. I'm a speaker, a career strategist, and a grief coach. I work with leaders, teams, and professionals to cut through that noise, regain traction, and make clear, aligned decisions, spiritually, strategically, and tactically. And if you find what I'm talking about useful, follow or subscribe for weekly insights on leadership, culture, and career transitions. Okay, so here's what I mean about this whole energy thing. If you've made a lot of plans and you didn't follow through on them, your brain starts to treat these plans like make-believe. They aren't real, so you don't have to pay any attention to them at all. It's your brain that's trying to stop you from not feeling bad about breaking a promise to yourself. So you may not realize this, but disappointment takes energy. Shame takes energy. That internal argument you have with yourself after you don't do the thing, it takes energy. So your system tries a different strategy. It actually reduces the fuel that you need to do the thing you know you need to do. So you literally don't have that energy to fulfill that promise or that plan that you had made. Now what's happening here is that reduction of fuel, it makes you feel like starting is like mud. It gets really, really gunky. So it's a way for your system to say, let's not risk another broken promise and that shame spiral that follows. So here's how to get your energy back. Stop trying to force motivation. Start rebuilding trust through the 80% promise method. Here's what it looks like. You only make a promise to yourself that you're 80% confident that you can keep. Not 90%, certainly not 100%. 80% is that sweet spot because it's doable. It gives you enough room to have other things pop up and not feel like you haven't made the promise. And when you do keep the promise, it creates evidence that you can keep a promise, which helps your brain realizes those promises are real. Okay, here's how it works. I've broken it down into steps. First, make the promise small enough to finish in under 10 minutes. This is key, and you have to make it just a single step, not an entire project. So, for example, find the most recent version of my resume in my files, not update my resume. That's too big of a chunk. Second, identify what might stop you from keeping the promise. Be real and don't judge, just be honest. Maybe it's technology issues. Maybe your kid gets a cold and that's going to stop you. Maybe you run out of time. Maybe you hit an emotional wall. The point isn't to fix your personality or to get angry at yourself because these things come up. The point is to name the friction that might pop up. And then 3 is to strategize around that. So we choose an antidote for that obstacle. So if the obstacle is time, the antidote might be reprioritizing with the help of an objective friend. If the obstacle is technical issues, the antidote might be to know exactly who you're going to call if you run into that brick wall, whether it's a hired hand or maybe it's corralling your teenager, like I do. If the obstacle is interruptions, the antidote might be setting a 10-minute boundary and locking the door to your room. Number 4, and I know this is going to sound so crazy, take the antidote. Actually do the thing that you said you're going to do when the obstacle arises. And as a little bit of a 4B, write a permission slip to readjust, because the hard truth is that life happens. Now, these permission slips matter more than they might sound because they're proof that you're not failing. You're adapting to real life issues that do come up. So your permission slip can be one sentence. If my kid gets the flu, I will reset without shaming myself. Number 5, Hard stop after you deliver on your promise. I have a lot of clients who actually struggle with this because they feel like, oh my gosh, I did it. I'm in momentum. I'm going to keep with the flow. But this is where your self-trust gets built. You said one thing, you did one thing, then you stop. You're proving reliability. You're not trying to squeeze out productivity. And then 6, reward yourself. Make it simple. Give yourself a sticker. Share the win with someone that you love. Take a moment to look in the mirror and say, thank you. You are teaching your brain and your body that keeping promises to yourself counts. So over time, this does something really sneaky and powerful. You actually start believing in yourself again. And when you believe in yourself, energy shows up. It's amazing. Now, let me bring this alive through a case study. When I met Richie, and I put that name in quotes because I always like to keep my clients anonymous, and I also sometimes combine stories about clients to make a rich case study. But for Richie, he kept telling me the same. I know I need to update my resume. I just can't seem to get myself to do it. Now, he wasn't confused about the steps. He was stuck in a loop. The old approach sounded like this. Okay, tonight I'm really going to update my resume. And then life would happen. One time the dishwasher imploded and his kid got detention and needed extra attention, and then his laptop battery died. And when those things happened, oh my gosh, everything just came to a complete stop. And then the next morning when he woke up to try to pick back up again, he just didn't feel good. He was so angry with himself because he was so behind. And of course, those feelings make updating his resume feel like proof that he's lazy. So he kept avoiding it. Now, the self-trust took a big hit. So we tried something different. Not bigger effort, a much, much smaller promise. So here was Richie's 80% promise to himself. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I will search for my resume. That's it. Not update it, not rewrite it, just locate it. Then we did the honesty step. What might stop Richie from doing this? And it was 3 things. He'd open up his laptop and immediately get hijacked by email. He'd start searching for the file and then get irritated that he couldn't find it, and then he'd just quit. Or he'd get interrupted and tell himself he'd come back later. So we chose antidotes that matched the real obstacles. Notifications off for 10 minutes, and then a very simple search plan. Search his email for resume, then check downloads, then check his files. Very, very clear. And then a boundary, a 10-minute timer, plus a heads up to the people around him that he was unavailable until it went off. And then the permission slip. If something else derails me, I will reset for later today without making it mean something bad about me. 10 a.m. came. Richie did the one thing. He searched with clarity, and what he found was that he couldn't find his resume within 10 minutes. And then he did a hard stop. He rewarded himself by sending me a quick text message, and I gave him a high five. And what we determined was that it wasn't about finding the resume, it was about searching for the resume. That was the self-trust success stop. So then Richie made his next 80% promise. He needed to start from scratch, and so he said, okay, tomorrow for 10 minutes, I'm just going to put down my last 2 jobs. That's all he needed to do. He wasn't going to do the entire resume. He was just going to list his last 2 roles. Richie wasn't building a resume in one sitting. He was rebuilding trust. And once he started collecting proof that he could keep promises to himself, his energy shifted and he had more of it. And it's not because life got any easier. His kids still got the flu and got detention, but because he stopped treating promises like make-believe and that they were commitments that were optional. The 80% rule restores momentum. Energy just isn't physical. It's trust in motion. Bottom line, if you're waiting for energy to show up before you take action, you might be waiting a while. In career transition, energy comes second. Self-trust comes first. When you make big promises and break them, your brain starts treating your plans like make-believe. It's trying to protect you from the emotional cost of another letdown. The problem is that protection shows up as low energy, so don't push harder. Become believable to yourself again. Try this in the next 24 hours. Make one 80% promise that takes 10 minutes. Do it, stop, reward the win. That's the practice. Now, if you lead a team, zoom out. The same dynamic shows up at work. When commitments keep getting made and broken, trust erodes, energy drops. Pressure will make it worse. If you're a senior leader and this feels familiar, I do have 5 one-to-one coaching spots open right now. I also work with leaders and teams who want to rebuild trust and follow through after disruption without turning the workplace into therapy. DM me and we'll set up a time to talk. So very big thank you to Amanda Kenny for her social media and digital mastery, and to Lauren Deacon for leading all of Moonshot Mentor operations. And thank you for being here. It really means a lot that you spend your time with me. So until next week, keep going after your moonshot.